interview for your dream career, whatever that may be. So you walk in, you have your hair done, and you're wearing your little suit, and you walk in confidently, sit down, and the people interviewing you say, "Thank you, Demetrius, for joining us today, and we're so happy that you're interested in the Executive Director of Baycare's position. Can you please start off by telling me more about yourself?" What do you say? It's everyone's favorite question, right? Because there's so many things to say. But you want to narrow it down where your focus highlights the things that you have done in life, the things that make you stand out, and what makes you really good for the position. And you want to get it all down into like a couple of minutes so that you don't bore them to death. So let's see. The title of my presentation was called Leading a Party of One and How to Be Your Biggest Advocate, because if you can't speak for yourself and be your biggest advocate, then who can, right? And within that is being a leader. It involves leadership. So Douglas MacArthur said that a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. That's a lot of words, but basically you want to make sure that you do have confidence, you do have those skills to make really important decisions when you need to, that you're compassionate to others, because guess what? It's not just about you in this world. We're surrounded by many people, as we are in here, and we hope to, as leaders, touch other people in different areas, different regions, peoples whose cultures may be different from ours. And we just want to make sure that when we are doing it, that we are being true to ourselves, which is where the integrity comes in. So, don't know why fear is repeated twice, but what is your biggest fear? Do you have a fear of failure, a fear of the unknown, a fear of socializing, fear of procrastination when it comes to your professional career? Perhaps your biggest fear is actually realizing your fullest potential, because you do have it. Whether you're extremely outgoing like I am and love to talk, or whether you prefer to kind of just sit back and observe, each individual, each person is unique, and you have your dreams, you have your goals, and there's so much that you can do that you probably can't even imagine unless you actually give it a shot and actually apply yourself. So Marianne Williamson, she has this very long quote, and I do break it up throughout the presentation, but one of the things that stands out, and you guys have probably heard this before, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So, when you're in that room and you're getting ready to interview for that dream position, when they're asking you to tell them more about yourself, I hope you know who you are. So we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? So you want to keep in mind that you're here on this earth for a reason. You have a purpose. Whether you realize what that purpose is or not, it's going to come to you. And human beings are complex. We're many things. But there are many things that you have that people who you have yet to reach out to are just waiting. That's gonna like really impact their lives. You have a lot within you that you can actually kind of just explore as you're a human being and you learn more about yourself and you evolve. And you can take these things that you learn and then hopefully be able to impact someone's life in a positive way. All right, so who am I? Um, well, I'll keep it simple. I am a daughter, um, a sister. I am actually a godmother to my 6 beautiful godchildren that my childhood best friend gave me. I am an aunt to my adopted brother's son named Adriel. I'm a former medical student, and I'm a teacher and former mentor. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey. As it was stated before, I am the former director of the executive director of Bay Cares. But before that, I actually had quite a different journey. I always wanted to be a doctor ever since I was little. I remember reading my mom's anatomy book when I was around 4 to 5 years old. It was very long ago. And I really just was kind of intrigued by the structures and stuff in there. And I eventually decided that I was going to pursue medicine. Now, as a kid, I want to be a baby doctor or an obstetrician until I found out where babies come from and how that process is. But as I got older, I wasn't always the outgoing person that you see before today. I was actually painfully shy. Like, as a kid, could not place my order at McDonald's, kind of shy. Okay. And so I got bullied a lot, a lot, a lot. And when all that was happening, instead of really being upset at those who were, you know, not being so kind to me, I kind of would sit back and observe and just kind of wonder, okay, what makes them do what they do? Is it something that I'm doing? Is it their own problems that they're having that they're projecting on me? And so then I decided that I want to go into psychiatry, right? And so to do that, I participated in some summer camps, graduated with a degree in biology from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. Did an internship at Tampa General Hospital and eventually got my master's at a DO school, which was the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. It was not located in Philadelphia because it was the branch campus. So it was actually in a rural place called Swanee, Georgia, which is no longer rural. But went there, did not get into med school right away. So I did some other things. And then I finally made it in. So, here's orientation. Had some opportunities, because I do love the kids, to do what's in a doctor's bag with them, where I show them how to, take their blood pressure, listen to their heart with the stethoscope. They really like that. And this was at a program through the Latin American Association, because another fun fact, I speak Spanish fluently. So I worked with these children and spoke English and Spanish with them. And, quite a few of them actually did decide that they want to become a doctor. I don't know what has happened. I wasn't able to keep track of them, but I hope they were able to realize that goal. Other fun thing is I participated in DO Down the Hill. Oh, I forgot to tell you, what is a DO? So a DO is a doctor of osteopathic medicine. We are kind of a happy medium in between allopathic medicine, which is your medical doctor, which you're used to seeing, the MD, and then the naturopathic physicians, which are more about herbs and natural remedies to cure people. They don't really prescribe medication. They're more popular out west. And so DOs, we have the best of both worlds. We can prescribe medication and also do some holistic health by coming up with looking at natural ways to heal someone versus just throwing some medication at them. So it's a pretty cool thing. And so we had DO Day on the Hill where we advocated for some things in medicine that were concerning. There wasn't enough. One of the things with med school is it's a 4-year journey, 2 years in the classroom, and then 2 years in what they call your rotations in the hospitals. So if you guys saw Grey's Anatomy, it was kind of like that. And you go into your residency, which is permanently in the hospital. So what they did during my year was they realized they did not have enough doctors. So they increased the class sizes nationwide to kind of fulfill that need. So we went from having the class before me, 88 people, to 240 people in my class, which is a dramatic difference. Unfortunately, they did not create enough residency positions. So basically, if they did not do that, they did not create more positions. We were just going to be graduates of medical school without anywhere to go and really practice medicine. So we were talking to the senator representative of Kentucky at the time, Mr. Senator Paul here. And fun fact, he's actually an ophthalmologist. Did anything really come of that conversation? No, but it was nice to get to meet him and kind of discuss our concerns. Got to participate in conferences, made some history as a first-year student. I got an opportunity to do a clerkship, which is basically hanging out with a doctor. This is in Bahia, Brazil, not in the field of study that I wanted to. She was actually a vascular surgeon, but it was a wonderful opportunity. Also got to hang out at the University of Minnesota in the psychiatry department. These are some psychiatrists there. And went to Johns Hopkins. So as I was going into my second year of med school, I had offers for residency programs at Harvard, Johns Hopkins, University of Minnesota, and I was just getting started, or so I thought. Unfortunately, at the end of my second year, I started feeling more tired than usual. As a med student, you get no sleep, so that happens, but I was falling asleep in class, was falling asleep in my car. One time I got in my car to drive home, which was 5 minutes away, and I wake up and I'm still in my car hours later and it's dark. So it took a while for the doctors to figure out, because how do you diagnose fatigue, right? Everyone's tired. But what they did find out was I had a rare condition. Less than 10% of the population has this. It's called idiopathic hypersomnia. And it's just a fancy way of saying I have daytime sleepiness and they don't know why. So it's not narcolepsy where I'm talking to you and just fall asleep in the middle of a sentence. It's just that, I don't know if you guys have anyone done all-nighters before? Okay, yeah, I totally understand. So imagine doing like 3 all-nighters in a row and getting no sleep. That's what it feels like. When I was diagnosed with this, there was no official cure and they did not have treatment. So that kind of meant the end of that path as far as my career is concerned, being a doctor, at least for that moment. And so that was disturbing. So I had to take a different path. When I left medical school, not only did I have to work with doctors to get on just cocktails of medications to figure out what worked, but I also needed to figure out what my next step was going to be, right? Because it was not going to be a doctor right then and there. So I had to learn how to advocate for myself. So how to be your biggest advocate involves being a visionary, right? You have potential within you. You just need to figure out how to access it. And then most importantly, you're going to want to be your biggest cheerleader. All right. So being a visionary. My background is Christianity, so took this verse out the Bible here, where it stresses that you write the vision, make it plain, so he that reads it can run with it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. So being a visionary is not only having the ability to kind of think outside a box and think ahead, but also understanding that life happens and whatever is meant to be will be, but things will happen in time, right? So before vision boards were popular, I used to write everything down, list out everything on my planner. That was me being a visionary at school because I was a nerd. But I also would write out my outfits that I wore for the day in high school because yes, I was that vain a little bit outside from being a nerd. So big picture here is I was big on planning, always been a planner. And as I got older, I did write out the top 10 things I want to be able to accomplish for myself. Okay, so one of the things that's important for you when you're advocating for yourself is to have a vision for big picture where you want to go in life, but what do you want to do within the next few hours, right? What is it that you want to do within the next few months or years pertaining to your career and other things? So for instance, when I wanted to be a doctor, I knew that was important to, well, I liked science anyway, but I needed to make really good grades and that kind of stuff and be in classes that would focus on those things. So I took like AP biology. But outside of that, I also watched shows like your Grey's Anatomy. I mean, they weren't completely fact, but kind of idea just to kind of see what life like as a doctor was. My first job was at 13 working for my pediatrician. So I got to see up close what she did as a doctor, and it was her practice. So I also got to learn the business side of that too. So those were kind of things. I knew the big picture was where I want to go was become a doctor, but you know, I had to take steps. So that's pretty important. So accessing your potential. Jim Ron here says that the big challenge is to become all that you have the possibility of becoming. You cannot believe what it does to the human spirit to maximize your human potential and stretch yourself to the limit. Now, the caveat here is, as our friend mentioned earlier, is you want to make sure you insert self-care there. You don't want to stretch yourself to the limit to the point where you're exhausted and can't do anything at all, right? So when you are writing your vision down, whether you're doing it, actually writing it down or doing a vision board or just kind of thinking in your mind what you want to do, think about the things, the traits and characteristics that you have that can get you there. So as a doctor, a future doctor, I knew I was going to need to study a lot. Well, I like to study. I have the discipline to sit down for hours and just read because I like to learn. But I also knew that I was going to be working with people. Well, I happen to like people, whether they're like itty bitty babies or the elderly, right? So these seem like small things, but they're actually a big deal when you're talking about whatever career you want to be in. Okay. So think about these things. Are you a natural leader? Do you like to organize things? Do you like to put things together? I don't know. If you're going into communications, are you great with social media posts? If you're in engineering, um, do you have that innovative spirit where you like to kind of think outside the box and create things? So think along those lines and like really think about those. I would strongly suggest writing them down somewhere so whenever you do come into obstacles, you can kind of look back on that and be like, oh wait, I have this, it's in here. I just need to pull it out. All right, so you want to be your biggest cheerleader. You're in that room, the interview space, and you're about to tell them more about yourself. All it is marketing. Um, I spent some time here at FSU Panama City in the Department of Communications serving as the development coordinator, which means I put together community events like these and did the Illumination series with Dean Clark, did a whole bunch of stuff. So one of the things I had to do was go out and advertise and let people know why they should come to the event, including students like yourself. For students, a lot, whether it was, you know, if it was something that you guys were naturally interested in, you would come, but I would also kind of go behind the scenes and get with the teachers and ask them to offer you extra credit for attending, like some of you guys got today, right? And so Marianne Williamson, again, your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. All right. So, got a special treat, you guys. We're going to actually watch yours truly marketing. I had the opportunity when I was the executive director of Baycares to get an interview with Channel 7, and I had to market our event, which was the Physicians Gala. So here you go.
Games, live performances, and recognizing our area healthcare providers. We have Demetrius from Baycares to tell us all about this year's Physicians Gala. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. Thanks. So I just want to start off with talking about Baycares. Tell us a little bit about what Baycares is.
Yes, I would be more than happy to. So Baycares was originally founded in the early 90s by a group of specialty doctors, including two who will be honoring during this upcoming gala next weekend. Congressman Neil Dunn, who's also a physician, was involved, and Dr. Elzori are some of the key people involved. So it was founded in a way to make sure that people who did not have insurance were able to get high specialty quality care, because we do have free clinics, which we are very grateful for. However, people without insurance